What is likely to happen if Trump is re-elected? His name in the media and social media 24/7. As someone not from the US, I'm not looking forward to it. Non-stop 24/7 media coverage. If Trump wins, it will likely mean that the Democratic candidate lost. Alls I know is that the 2024 election season is gonna be tortuous and tedious AF. Alec Baldwin will have a job for another 4 years. A survey conducted by PBS NewsHour (NPR) found that 61% of Americans do not want to see Trump on the ballot in 2024. The likelihood of Donald Trump being re-elected is quite slim. For one, he needs to make it through a contentious primary with 2 other popular national Republicans. Additionally, Trump's advantage in 2016 is that while he was disliked, he was running against Hillary Clinton. He was also severely disliked. Trump also had yet to hold any kind of political office, which can be a blessing and a curse. Trump ran in a year where a political outsider is what the electorate was looking for. So having never held any political office had a twofold advantage. Trump's performance in office had yet to be seen, and he was running against the biggest establishmentarian in the country. Of course, that was then. What about next year? Well, Trump would likely be running as the head of a deeply fractured party against a relatively unpopular incumbent. Trump is still polled as more unpopular than Joe Biden, and while his performance isn't highly rated, President Biden is still relatively liked on a personal level. Additionally, with a deeply fractured Republican Party, Trump will have the gargantuan task of uniting the party in addition to defeating the Democratic Party, which will coalesce around the incumbent president. Republican leaders are attempting to pull from Trump and open the field, the presumptive favorite being Ron DeSantis. Minority Leader McConnell has even done a joint event with President Biden recently, which is a pretty severe rebuke of the former president. I'm saying all of this because while Democrats are heading into a harsh political environment in 2024, Republicans are extremely unpopular with the general electorate right now, and if they want to escape the extremist label they've been getting in recent years, they need to drop Trump. With the current political environment, Republicans should have a massive majority in the House and a slim one in the Senate following last year's midterms. Of course, midterms are not always representative of what will happen in a presidential election. Obama almost lost the Senate, and he lost 60 seats in the House in 2010, but then was re-elected fairly comfortably in 2012. However, it rarely goes the other way. What I mean is that an incumbent party typically won't do well in a midterm and then do poorly in a presidential election. For example, despite his falling popularity, President Bush did well in the 2002 midterms and subsequently increased his margin in the 2004 presidential election, albeit by a very slight margin. Additionally, the 2 Democratic administrations before the Biden administration had extremely poor performances in their first midterms and then performed fairly well in their presidential elections. 1994 was the first time since 1952 that Democrats lost the House under Clinton's watch, and Obama lost 63 seats, one of the largest shifts of power in the House's history. That being said, we can't really know what the 2022 midterms are indicating for 2024. But my guess is that it's bad for Republicans. Roe v. Wade, anti-democratic policies and extreme stances in the culture war are likely to continue motivating Republicans like in 2020 and 2022, but is also highly likely to alienate anyone that isn't on the right of the political compass. Having said all of that, A re-election of Donald Trump would likely lead to high levels of unrest akin to what we saw in 2020. Because it would likely be a result of the Electoral College not representing the will of the majority. For example, if 10K votes had flipped in Georgia, 10K in Arizona and 20K in Wisconsin, a cumulative total of 40K, Donald Trump would have been re-elected. Despite losing the popular vote by 7 million votes in 2020, his victory in 2024 would likely need to follow that thread of narrowly winning states, but comfortably losing the national popular vote. He'd also likely win the Senate and the House in that scenario, and Republicans would likely abolish the filibuster immediately and pass a slew of anti-democratic, unpopular laws. A national abortion ban would be put on the table, and Donald Trump and those that still follow him have been talking about restricting the press. More people will be empowered to vote Democrat, and the smaller elections will see a blue wave. Whomever Trump endorses for 2028 won't win, so we'll have a Democratic president with a Democratic Congress and House of Reps. Maybe even Democrat majority Supreme Court. And nothing will change. Anger over everything still being bad will empower Republicans to make an anti-Trump campaign, and there'll be a red wave that more or less evens out the government. And still, nothing will change. The rich will get richer still. Revenge tour. He spent the 2 years exacting revenge on his enemies and people that didn't vote for him. Grover Cleveland will be very sad. A repeat of 20,162,020 with more outrageousness, I imagine. We would probably stop assisting Ukraine, and he would try and pull the US out of NATO. Much hand-wringing, but nothing fundamentally changing. If there was a way of not knowing who the president was, I couldn't even perceive a shift had occurred with Biden. Remember the $1,400? Dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria. I grab him by his coochie. We all continue to wake up, go to work, pay our bills and taxes, and provide for family and friends. I honestly see if Trump wins, it's just going to be his national revenge tour. He's going to be too concerned with getting back at everybody that ever slighted him. He won't even care about governing whatsoever. Not that he really did before, but you know, person shrugging, medium light skin tone. I will be very, very sad. I will also be very sad if Biden gets re-elected. Anyone under retirement age 2024. Honestly, unless the GOP has been secretly killing its own voters, that's not likely to happen. A lot of Republicans voted against him. And that was before January 6th. That cost him a lot of supporters that voted for him that year. Not gonna happen. They should set an age limit for presidents. No more boomers. He and Biden should both enjoy their golden years with all their money on the golf course with a cocktail.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. TooAfraidToAsk is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.